Hey everybody, Jason back again, and today we're doing another sort of like movie review. So today I went and saw Ghostbusters. I went and saw it because I'd been wanting to see it, and I hadn't had a chance to, and when I checked the movie times this morning, I noticed that basically they're out there with like one showing at the movie theater that I go to. So it's kind of on its way out, which, I'll be honest, it is a couple months after the release, and I know that the movie's lost like $70 million or something like that. And I know that it's, being plagued by like bad reviews and people hating on it and everything like that. But anyway, that's beside the point. I'm a huge fan of the Ghostbusters series. My car has an Ecto-themed license plate. I'm actually in the process, surprisingly, of doing some Ghostbusters-themed content right now. And I don't know, I was curious. Like, I have always been curious about it. I've seen and heard about all of the terrible things that have been going on with the production. Like, just people being attacked that are part of the crew, people being attacked that are, like, the director or actors or things like that. And just a general environment of hate that was put up on the internet about this. And I don't know, it wasn't warranted. They're women, but who cares? Women can act too. And it's like, yes, they're doing the Ghostbusters, but who cares? All of the other actors, they're either, one of them is, he's dead, sadly, and the other three, they're getting older. They can't necessarily do like the same roles that they could have done beforehand. So it's like, I don't know what people would expect. Being that the woman changes nothing about how a Ghostbusters movie could actually exist or why it should or anything like that. It'd be the same as if they did Charlie's Angels with a gender swap and did it as like Charlene's angels, but they were men or something like that. I have no idea. Anyway, gender issues and like people issues aside, the one thing that I feel was a downfall in this movie was that it didn't set itself aside from the original in any way, shape, or form. And that is odd. Like, why... they could have given it like a different sort of tagline, and like the way that the first trailer introduced it, it seemed like it was a sequel, but then no, it's a alternate version of it. So I don't know, it's just odd. The first trailer was weird. For me, it was the pacing. Like, the edit wasn't right. Like, it wasn't timed right, and the music didn't quite fit, and then the cuts were weird, and they showed very large segments of what the movie actually was. And so it didn't sit right with me. But what I saw was three actresses who I really liked. The Leslie actress who was currently on, or I think she's still on Saturday Night Live. She was the only one that I was actually kind of iffy about, because Kristen Wiig is like one of my favorite comedians ever out of the Saturday Night Live like series, like for right now, and like I was excited to see her. And the Jenna McCarthy girl, so, and then I can't remember the other one's name, but the girl that plays Holtzman, I think that she's funny too. A lot of them have a start on SNL, and it's kind of funny to see like all these people together and the way that they actually work. But anyway, internet hatred and the infamous status of this movie aside, I actually really enjoyed it. There were some cringeworthy moments where they sort of tried to make some humor, but for me, it didn't quite fit. I don't know. I don't think that the first movie was fart jokes, but there was a few of those, and I don't know. It's just kind of cringeworthy. But once they got past sort of that, it was actually really funny. Like, I'll say this: the Holtzman character was my favorite one out of all of them. Like, and that's kind of cool. Here, I'll use this as an example. So here you have the original Ghostbusters, and yes, there are 3 white dudes and a black dude. And yes, in the new movie, there's 3 white girls and a black girl. But honestly, that's really the only thing that puts them as anything sort of similar. I mean, yeah, there's a really scientific one. This character is, kind of in it just for the paycheck, but I don't know, it's just, they're different characters. They're not trying to like retell the story. They're actually trying to set off on their own and do something different. I don't know, like, I feel like I'm rambling, and I kind of wish that I'd been able to collect my thoughts a little bit better, but I'm just going to say this. Overall, the story actually went very well. I feel that if you compare this one to the very first Ghostbusters movie that came out, in like late 80s? Early 80s? The story was actually a little bit more cohesive, and it made a little bit more sense on like a wider scale than the ramifications of the other one. So, yeah, like in the first one, the city was haunted. Ghostbusters were fighting it, but they were all sort of located around this one building. But why were they being attacked? Like, what was the reason? This one sort of gives you a bit of a reason. And let me just dwell on this for a second. So, I talked about, the internet hate and everything like that. The funny thing is that the whole reason why any of this is happening in the movie, like the whole like premise for the movie is, and spoiler alert if you haven't already seen the movie or don't know, I mean, they released the basic synopsis of the film like a couple months or a month before the movie actually came out, but it all has to do with bullying. The main villain of the movie was doing what he was doing because he was bullied throughout his entire life, and they set it up to show that everyone thinks the guy is a freak, and yeah, he kind of acts like a freak. So it's kind of deserved. But then there's the fact that they also show that the girls themselves are being bullied, maybe not to such an extent, but they are definitely a target of something. And I think that they kind of put it out really well that they were aware that there was a lot of hatred on the movie. And they do point that out a couple times. And I thought that was actually very justified, and they did it very well. It wasn't, just like slamming it in the face of everyone that's like, oh yeah, we know that everyone hates this movie. But no, they did it very smart, and they did it in a way that was just very witty, and I appreciated that. But yeah, it's all about being bullied and what you as a person would do if you got bullied. And this guy chose to basically use his knowledge of science and research that allowed him to build like a ghost vortex that summoned ghosts, that allowed him to control them to get revenge on everybody. And I don't know, it was actually quite cool. I liked it. And like the Ghostbusters themselves, I think they're portrayed very well. When they actually got into the flow of the movie, they did a great job. I don't know, it's just like the characters played very well together, and even Chris Hemsworth, who dude, that guy his character in the movie was dumb as a brick, and I thought that was kind of funny, but then it was a little bit over the top, but I mean, he still fit, and it was a little bit weird that he was just like, I mean, he was basically a sex object for one of the main characters, like Kristen Wiig's character, and everyone considered him to be handsome, and even the bad guy, when he inhabited his body, he was like, this guy is hunky, but like he's making me dumber every second. So I don't know, it's just it's interesting how they worked everything. But I mean, overall, it came together as a movie that, and I'll say this quite honestly, I enjoyed it more than I enjoyed Suicide Squad. I thought that this movie should have gotten a lot better credit for what it actually did. I think that it put together a solid show, and it was fun. I mean, the movie was 2 hours long, and honestly, I wanted more. And the fact that the proposed sequel, because there are after-credit sequences, and there's bits during the credits, and there's a main bit after the credits that actually sets up a sequel that I actually would have wanted to see. I want to see that more than I want to see like another Suicide Squad. To be quite honest with you, I don't know. It's like I love Ghostbusters, and I actually left the movie feeling very happy, and I was really excited to talk to somebody about this. And the sad thing is that too many people are tainted by what everyone thinks to think their own thoughts and just go and see a movie that they want to go see. And the biggest thing that these people could have done, and which they probably did do, aside from, yelling about it on the internet, is to not go see the movie. If you don't want to see something, if you don't want something to do well, don't support it. If you've got a store in your area that you think is doing the wrong thing, you don't have to shop there, unless it's for some reason the only store that you can get a certain thing at and you need that to survive. But if you don't want to support something, don't just yell about it. Don't become like a blindless mob. Just don't support it. I waited a long time to go see the movie, but part of that was scheduling. Part of that is I was waiting for someone to go with me, but that fell through, and I decided, I had some free time, I'm going to go see it anyway. And ultimately, I feel all the better for it. I paid money to go see this movie, and I'm okay with doing that. When this movie releases on Blu-ray, I'm going to buy it because I want to have all of the Ghostbusters movies, and cringy bits aside, this did a good job. Final thing that I'll touch on before I leave this is the cameos from the original cast and crew that they could actually get. So Bill Murray was in there. He was definitely the longest cameo out of all of them. His was odd. He played some sort of like paranormal scientist that he's a scientist or some guy that's like famous for like debunking things that are in the paranormal world and saying that they're not true. So basically he said that they weren't true, and then he shows up at their office and basically tells them, it's like, I want proof, and they've just caught a ghost. And he kind of eggs them on, and Kristen Wiig's character releases the ghost, which knocks him out a window, and I don't know if he died. I have no idea. It didn't actually touch on that. It just sort of did a cut to police being around, police tape, and they were talking about like who pushed him out the window. So maybe he got really hurt. I don't know. But then there was Janine, who I can't remember her name for the life of me, but she was the concierge or hotel manager at a hotel, and her spot was kind of put right on. Like I think she answered the phone and she's like, "What do you want?" And I don't know. It was just kind of perfect. And then there was what is it? I think his name was actually Ernie Hudson. I can't remember. I don't know why I remember him, but not like the other girl. But he came on at the very end. He was actually Patty's uncle, who she was borrowing the hearse from. And it was nice to see him again. His was nice, short, and it did it very well. And then Dan Aykroyd, who I think was actually the best one out of all of them. He was a cab driver, and he was driving around while the apocalypse was happening. And the girl was trying to get a cab, and he was like, "No, I don't pick up crazies," and he basically says like they're only like class 5 vapors, and he doesn't want to go like as far south as I don't know. His was the best. Like his was perfect. I love Dan Aykroyd, and I kind of think that the whole end villain thing, where it's basically the Ghostbusters logo come alive. There was parts of it that I felt looked a lot like Dan Aykroyd. And if they did it on purpose, if it was just sort of like an angle that I was seeing it from, or if it's just that I see him a lot in these movies, that's what I saw. And then there was Sigourney Weaver. There was a little bit... I don't think that she was cast appropriately in her spot, but I mean, she fit in. It was interesting to see all of them back. I mean, yeah, there wasn't Rick Moranis, and of course, Harold Ramis wasn't there, but if you watched really closely in the beginning, Harold Ramis's head, I think, was a gold bust outside either Kristen Wiig's office or the dean's office. But yeah, overall, I'm just going to say, it's worth the time. I'm sad that there won't be a sequel. It would have been interesting to see it. But again, if you just want like a good fun movie to watch, I mean, I'd say watch this. If you want something that's better than Suicide Squad, go watch this one. But it's not going to be in theaters for very much longer. I mean, you'll probably be able to see it in like the discount movie theaters or dollar theaters or whatever. But I don't know. It's definitely worth a watch. it actually did better than the second Ghostbusters movie, in my mind, and I'm talking about like the original ones. Ghostbusters 2 was the bad Ghostbusters movie. This one was not. Anyway, we'll see you guys later. Bye bye.